5:20 Central on this Monday. I'm here at the studios working because I just cannot not come in. And I realize that I get hysterical a lot here on the air. And it's because I spend hours and hours and hours researching things and actually reading the bills. And then I don't have words to describe to people how serious it is historically and how much danger we're all in. And then I see the MSM pushing the most hardcore, racist, crazy garbage I've ever seen. And it's even in the WikiLeaks. They're doing it to divide everybody so they can rule over us and make us poor. And it pisses me off. Do you understand the liberal professors aren't liberal? They know they're part of a takeover plan. They're criminal, psychological warfare mercenaries. And the Republican establishment people are just as bad. So I meant to do like 5 videos, okay? But I got to spend some time with my family. Zimmerman's here as well. I just shot an HD video dealing with this topic, this first topic of 5 topics I've got here. But I've got to just rehash this live so you understand the climate we're in before I get to all this. And I'm getting really hard chills right now because there's such an epic battle for freedom happening right now. America was going down to globalism. It was so over the top, though, in the last 2 years when they gave the Pentagon and the CIA and the military training manuals that are now public to arrest libertarians, veterans, gun owners. They even used the term re-education camps. Just if you don't believe, look, don't believe me. Google Army Manual Re-Education Camp. 2010, it was declassified. It was written in 2010, it leaked into 2013, it was declassified a year later because they had to. And it talks about processing our families, taking our social security numbers, sending the people that won't accept collectivism for intensive re-education, how to break the males up, everything. It's all there. And of course, they had mainstream news articles going, Alex Jones is making up more fake news. This isn't real. Thinking you wouldn't be smart enough to go pull it up at army.mil. In fact, Zimmerman, that's a point I ought to shoot for the HD one we just shot earlier. There's a camera. And probably add that into there. People don't understand this next piece of info, what goes with it. They're not just going to ban free speech in this country. They're going to stage terror attacks, blame it on the liberty movement. This is the formula. And then they're going to roll out and start rounding people up. Now you're saying, well, we got Trump in. They could assassinate him anytime. He's got both parties, almost every foreign government against him. Yes, there's a movement against globalism rising. And yes, we have a chance to turn this around. But I want people to understand how dire the straits are. This bill passed bipartisanly. Zero Hedge did a great job of excising out parts of the bill. We've covered this ad nauseum. People said it would never pass. Then it passed the House. Then it passed the Senate. Then it went to conference. Then it went back to the House and Senate. And they passed it a week ago. Obama signed it Friday night, close to midnight. The NDAA 2017. No, it didn't 2013, where they legalized secretly arresting U.S. citizens and disappearing us. Remember that? Same year they legalized domestic propaganda by the CIA. Now they funded it, and in the bill put the CIA, with all its corruption and evil, and 16 other intelligence agencies in charge of the Board of Broadcast Governors of the FCC, with a charge to take over the internet, with a charge to take over not just broadcast, but also cable. Let me explain something. Separate from the free speech attack in the bill. You think that's news? That the Board of Governors is now going to be directed by the frickin' Pentagon, who engages in disinfo and black information wars, what it's called, all over the world? And again, I'm not against our military themselves. They're more awake than the general public. This is so the globalist on top of the military can use its systems to direct firepower in the info war against the veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, this is now law. Obama enacts Ministry of Truth, as public focuses on holidays, zero hedge up on Infowars.com. Feds to legally crack down on First Amendment. And by the way, I'm not just reading Zero Hedge, who I found to be one of the best publications out there. I've been covering this for years, the plan to do this. Hillary called for it 4 years ago when she left the State Department. Remember the clip? There's an information war. We're losing an information war. Remember that? It's talking about me. And they talk about me specifically in the debate to pass this and all over the news. Can you imagine that? They claim I'm a Russian agent. Isn't that funny? When both sides of my family fought the Soviets. And I'm not even going to get into it. Oh, Obama, I'm fighting the globalists now. That's why they're pissed. No, I am America. You're America out there that resists this. How dare you ever claim I do this for some foreign power when it's the communist Chinese and the Saudi Arabians and the EU and the Pope and every other criminal organization openly giving money to Hillary, openly in our news, openly trying to propagandize the American people, but you all failed. You got your asses kicked, and that's what you don't like. Now, I'm going to cover this whole article and the segments of the bill in the HD videos everyone's going to put together. Let me read just part of this article now. Feds to legally crack down on First Amendment. That's a quote. Legally. Oh, it's legal. Kind of like abortions. Oh, we made it legal to kill babies. We made it legal for the Board of Governors to be run by the State Department, the Defense Department, Homeland Security, the CIA, on and on and on. Oh, you made it legal. Great, wonderful. Forget the censoring of InfoWars they're announcing and Breitbart and Drudge. This is the FCC Board of Governors taking over everything, the internet. The headline should be NDAA. Federalizes the internet. Print media. All forms of communication, not just broadcast, set up in 1913 or whatever it is, and after Marconi invented the radio over in Italy. Good God. I'm sitting here and the full magnitude is hitting me. And see, people say I exaggerate. 9 times out of 10, it's worse than what I'm saying. Late on Friday, I predicted last week, I said, watch, you can do it this weekend, late at night. Not a hard prediction to make. With the U.S. population embracing the upcoming holidays and oblivious of most news emerging from the administration, Obama quietly signed into law the 2017 National Defense Authorization Act, which authorizes $611 billion for the military in 2017. Today, I have signed into law S2943, the National Defense Authorization Act. And he goes on. There's nothing in here about the $1 trillion+ $1.5 billion apiece, F-35. That continues. Yeah, there's nothing about our borders being wide open, and or how he ordered the drones to be turned off on the border. No. It's all about funding the takeover of all communications. I told you a few weeks ago when Obama was giving speeches everywhere saying, we've got to have the state give aid to media to counter the lies and shut down the lies. And then Google Chrome would block people going to InfoWars, saying this is dangerous. I have family and friends. In fact, I've got it right here on my phone. My dad sent it to me this morning. I'm getting calls. People that have never gone to Snopes, that hate Snopes, that know it's a fraud, they're all getting emails from Snopes. The government's used its NSA databases, tech people believe, to just give them everybody's contact info. Kind of like forced news alerts that Obama sends you on your smartphone. I mean, this is information war, people. Force feeding, the waterboarding of the American people with globalist BS. Claiming those of us fighting it are the foreign power. You got a lot of nerve. Recently, as we reported in early June, a bill to implement U.S. very own de facto Ministry of Truth has been quietly introduced into Congress. They actually say it is a new department to promote the truth and to enforce the truth. I mean, this is directly out of the Soviet Union. As with any legislation attempting to dodge the public spotlight, the countering foreign propaganda. You want to come around, Zimmerman? Sure. As with any legislation attempting to dodge the public spotlight, the Countering Foreign Propaganda Disinformation Act of 2016 marks a further curtailment of press freedom and another avenue to stultify avenues of accurate information. Introduced by Congressman Adam Kinzinger and Ted Lieu, H.R. 5181 seeks a whole government approach this is a quote, without bureaucratic restrictions. Oh, isn't that nice? To counter foreign disinformation and manipulation. Then they list in the debate, InfoWars, you know it's all the news. Disinformation, manipulation, which they believe threaten the world's security and stability. Also called the Countering Information Warfare Act of 2016, when introduced in March by Senator Rob Portman, the legislation represents a dramatic return to Cold War-era government propaganda battles. But now claiming, again, Russia is the reason Trump won, that he should be banned from Twitter. Also called the Countering Information Warfare Act. Oh, her Infowars.com. These countries spend vast sums, and it goes on. Surprisingly, Portman continued, there is currently no single U.S. governmental agency or department charged with the national level development, integration, and synchronization of whole of government strategies to counter foreign propaganda and disinformation. Meanwhile, they've legalized domestic propaganda here, with the federal government being under the control of foreign multinationals who are bigger than any one government. Long before the fake news meme became a daily topic of extensive conversation on such discredited mainstream portals as CNN, Washington Post, H.R. 5181 would task the Secretary of State with coordinating the Secretary of Defense, the Director of National Intelligence, that's all the agencies, CIA, you name it, and the Broadcasting Board of Governors, that is the FCC, folks, to establish a Center for Information Analysis and Response, which they say is going to be having them, the big tech companies, delist us, which will pinpoint sources of disinformation, analyze data, and in true dystopic manner, develop and disseminate fact-based narratives to counter effrontery propaganda. So, in short, long before fake news became a major media topic, the U.S. government was already planning its legally backed crackdown on anything it would entitle, label fake news. And they say InfoWars is chief amongst it. Okay. As usual, we've just read to you from the bill. We've just read to you what House members and what Senate members said. We've been countering Hillary. We've been exposing the WikiLeaks, where they admit they're lying to you and want to keep you in the dark. We read out of the Wall Street Journal and PC World, where the Chinese communists are quoted, their government, People's Daily, as, we're helping censor your news. Now you understand why it's important to control your people. We will shut down the fake news like InfoWars. Well, we're not the fake news lying about Iraq and WMDs and lying about the poll numbers and lying about who's going to win and spewing all this race-based crap. And we kicked their butt. You kicked their butt. So now, sure, we blew up their Death Star politically. Now that the empire is striking back, what are you going to do about it? Now, let's talk about the bullying. Man removed from flight after allegedly harassing Ivanka Trump. Now, it turns out the man and his, quote, husband, they're allowed to bully and scream at women and get in their face and chase them around because they're gay, so it's okay. This whole fascism from the left, because they're protected special classes. Let me tell you, what you do in your bedroom ain't that interesting to me, bro, okay? So quit, it's like drama queening. Like ugly girls in junior high or something. Just give it a break, bro. Man removed from flight. They go on to brag how, well, she shouldn't fly in coach. She's so racist and she's so homophobic and she's so that. It's Ivanka Trump who tried to get Trump to leave Hillary alone. It's Ivanka Trump that's all into the rainbow flag stuff, dumbasses. It's Ivanka Trump is the one that the left ought to be seen as mediating. But you see, you're just all intellectually low information. And you call those of us that make it a sport out of being informed, that live this. I broadcast on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I can't stop. I'm informed. You, though, attack the bigoted demon. Ivanka and Jared at the JFK T5 flying commercial. My husband chasing them down to harass them. Oh, and then all these other liberal women that bitch about how men harass them, even asking them out, they're all quoted as saying, good, get after her. She deserves it. Your bullying will only radicalize her to wanting private property and freedom and free speech. The Republican establishment, the Democratic establishment are corrupt. You're chumps. You're idiots. Look at this. Comedian on Ivanka Trump incident. I'm happy she was harassed. F her and her SHIT family. I mean, it's just all corporate media establishment. A bunch of bullies ganging up on people, and then everybody else is supposed to just join in on this and feel like you're powerful. You're jokes. Everyone's done with you. They're getting ready to cancel Colbert's show because since he became political and since America woke up, no one wants to hear his fake news crap. He's a fake person with a fake name playing a fake newscaster telling us about fake news and how I need to be shut off the damn airwaves. By the way, I do Facebook mentions routinely with 3, 4, 5 million, 10 million, 16 million views. So does Paul Watson. So I don't need to come on your show with 2 million viewers, bro. I have 5 million listeners and viewers a day on my regular show every day, day in, day out. 41 million a week, 85 million on election week. If you had me on your show, then you'd have high ratings. But you're such control freaks, you'd rather edit things. And again, I'm not asking to come on your show. I don't care. CNN calls, I don't even return their phone calls. I get calls offering to host TV shows, which I've hosted many on Discovery, History, you name it, co-hosted stuff on True TV. I refuse it. I get off on the fact that I turned down 2 different Fox News shows. Understand that? I'm a trailblazer. I'm a maverick. I'm in to doing my own thing. And got all this fancy equipment, but I'm doing it handheld right now because it's what my viewers like. It's what I like. So get that straight, bro. You're a has-been. You're a failure no matter if you're wearing a $3,000 suit, okay? I'm wearing a $500 sports jacket and a $30 shirt, okay, bro? I can go get a $3,000 jacket, too. I don't want one. I like my $500, $600 one. That's pretty damn fancy to me. I like my $30 shirt. It's $1 extra to get my name put on it. AJ, see that? Talk about how you give to charity all day. I'd like to see your charity release, bro. I'm so sick of you people. You're such frauds. But here's the good news. Everybody sees through you, and that's why they're calling to shut everybody down right now. Because they're panicking. They don't know what to do. We've got Trump euphoria, over $1 trillion out of the stock market. Hundreds of billions now. It was 60 billion just a week ago. Now announced to come back in. It's incredible. Confidence is back. Oh, but what does the big banks and the Ford Foundation and the federal government with our tax money pay for? Thousands of professors, like this social engineer dirtbag. Listen to this guy. He teaches, and this is teaching all over the country, the problem with whiteness class. And he tweeted, "All I want for Christmas is white genocide." Mr. Mayor is a control freak. Mr. Mayor is a supremacist, similar to a real Nazi. But he hates himself and white people. This is like when you see people from Poland that Poland has no history of slaves or hurting black people, and you read about all these inner cities where there's poor Eastern Europeans moving in, and they're getting killed with hammers, guns, you name it, almost every day by racist black people. Because the media says go out and mug and kill whites, they're bad. And here you are acting like any other white person in the world is bad. Not just me, an American, or somebody who might have some ancestors connected to some slavery, when only 2% of people in the colonies had slaves up to the Civil War. This weird shared guilt, this weird projected crap where whites are now 16th or 17th, depending on which demographic you look at, the lowest upwardly mobile group, except for African Americans and Native Americans. We're like number 3. You've got Arabs, you've got Christian Lebanese, you've got Chinese, you've got South Koreans. They're all up there, the most upwardly mobile, the highest paid, the biggest futures. Whites are total illegitimacy, falling into the gutter, degenerating, total guilt, don't want to have kids, believe we're evil on average. And all over the weaponized big corporate global news, whites are bad. And the big establishment universities teach the problem with whiteness. White communist professor advocates white genocide. Professor pushes culture of anti-white racism at colleges. Clifford Cunningham, Infowars.com. A white communist college professor who advocated, here, come on around here. Great job. A white communist college professor who advocated for genocide of white people in a tweet on Christmas has well-documented history of hateful comments towards crackers. George Mayer, an associate professor of political science at Drexel University in Philadelphia, tweeted on Sunday, "All I want for Christmas is a white genocide." Remember, All over the country, they've banned at colleges and on the radio, Bing Crosby, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like all those times before. It means snow. My 8-year-old daughter's only seen snow once. She wanted to go to Colorado. I'm so busy I can't. She said, I want a white Christmas. She heard the song. She's not racist. But you know that. You want to control all the language. Make everybody feel bad, like Seattle, if you don't have brown paper bag. We noticed some departments were saying we're brown bagging it at a meeting this week at the such and such because the food won't be served. That could hurt someone. Now, it's never been used as the term racist, but we're just saying it could be. It's controlling all language by labeling it all racist, homophobic, or hurtful, so you can then control, like a cult leader, what language can be used. All I want for Christmas is a white genocide. And it goes on how they teach the problem with whiteness and how it's taught all over the country. And all the new textbooks teach that the family's bad, white people are bad. This is to create total disintegration so that Hispanics, blacks, and others who are being taught by all these weird, self-loathing white people and leftists, so that you don't think, yeah, my birthright's the Second Amendment. My birthright's private property. My birthright is being able to practice the religion I choose. My birthright is being an atheist or not an atheist if I want. My birthright is living like I want as long as I don't hurt somebody else. And if that means growing hemp in your background, in your backyard, fine. If that means riding motorcycles, that's fine. If that means getting tattoos, that's fine. If that means being gay, that's fine. But it doesn't mean a big cult controlling everybody. And they're so full of themselves, they have no ideology, no intellectualism, and then they just flip out with all the lies about Trump. Forget Trump. Trump's not perfect. But his sin is being an outsider coming in with his own power team of rich people who are pro-America, who want to bring wealth back and defeat this system of domesticating you. The globalists are in a race, in their own words, to make you poor, to control you. Research Agenda 21, Cloward and Piven. The New York Times comes out and says it's fake, it doesn't exist. That's a load of horse crap. George Herbert Walker Bush signed the legislation and the treaty, but it didn't pass Congress. We're still under it, though. Just like Obama and the carbon taxes. Congress didn't pass that 6-7 years ago. We're still under it. Trump's got to reverse that. He signed Agenda 21. Learn about Cloward and Piven. Don't believe them. Let me tell leftists something. I'm not going to get into how I grew up, where I live, or who I am. But when it comes to social stuff, I've been very liberal my whole life. Okay? Because I'm live and let live, and I've got friends of all persuasions, you name it. And they're such bullies in their leftist thing. They go, I don't want to hear you've got friends of all persuasions. That's code for you being bullies and thought police that want to go around getting everybody's faces. I'm saying who I am, not sitting there saying it so I conform to you and virtue signal, okay? In fact, that's why I won't virtue signal and use the terms you say. I will use the word homosexuals, not to attack anybody, because it's the frickin' scientific name, like heterosexual. They say don't use the word Caucasian, it's racist, or Negro. That just means black. That's like they got Mexican beer called Negro, Modelo. They're getting people to try to change the name because people think it's racist in the damn counter. That's Spanish or Latin for black. There's a war on words, a war on communication. They're banning Huckleberry Finn and To Kill a Mockingbird because it shows people being racist. So, let me get more into the bullying here. Feds say Florida man threatened Trump in Facebook post. Look how crazy he looks in his mugshot. Okay? This guy starts talking about how he wants to, allegedly, the Secret Service police came to his house. He's very close to where Trump's staying in Florida. Reportedly said, I got a sniper rifle. People said, what do you mean? Well, keep your eyes open. I'm going to, basically, he says he's going to take him out. Kevin Krohn, K-R-O-H-N. How would you pronounce his German? Krohn. This is a German name. Krohn says they're going to go after him. So they show up. He starts screaming, Trump's evil, I have a First Amendment, F you. Go ahead and arrest me, just in a big temper tantrum. If he wouldn't have said he was mean any harm, he wouldn't have got charged. But he showed intent like a moron. He thinks he's a celebrity, like the British guy that came here to kill Trump, remember, and got the gun in Nevada. And then they come in, and there's his girlfriend, and he's got the laptop open, proving it was him. But the point is, all Trump wanted to do was cut your taxes, dumbass. All Trump wanted to do was not have China with a 15% corporate tax lower than ours, so our jobs would come back. All the stuff, he wasn't anti-homosexual. All the stuff you were told, he wasn't anti-Hispanic. He said, we're going to deport the hundreds of thousands of felons that are here in this country. The point is that the most uneducated, dumbed-down people, white, black, Hispanic, you name it, are the ones that buy into the hype of MSM. And they're very, very sad people. And they think that they're doing the world a favor when every major newspaper out there has their own writers calling for the assassination of Trump. And I call on the Secret Service and others to charge the Hollywood producers and the big writers who are calling for someone to kill Trump or who are saying, I'm organizing people to kill Trump. You need to go after them because it's an attempt to go after our free speech and who we voted for. Now let's continue. Liberals stockpiling guns, ammo in preparation for Trump apocalypse. Infowars.com. And you read this, they're all over the place. Massive sales are up. Conservatives aren't buying as much guns, but now liberals are, believing there's a political group in charge that's going to cause a war or come after them. You notice that a surface-to-air missile clearly shot down that Russian plane. The Russians aren't saying that because they know they've had multiple ambassadors and diplomats killed the last week as an attempt to spur them into war, just like World War I. But again, now the left admits they want guns for us politically to suppress us. That's what they've always been trying to do. And now we force you out in the open to nakedly behave just like the snarling, rat-like gang members you are. See, we're true liberals, true intellectual people that believe in individualism and believe in you being able to live your life. I don't think of myself as powerful through some group. I think of myself as strong through other individuals being able to live their lives and move forward. Hillary in the WikiLeaks was caught being run by globalists. Hillary was caught being run by special interests who admit in the WikiLeaks they want to keep us in the dark, desperate, and dumb. Go read them. Hillary was caught getting communist Chinese money. The biggest mass murderers in history, who wouldn't do anything for you, you average, spoiled, liberal trendies that are involved in social envy and culture wars and just hate yourself and everybody else around you and want an excuse to stomp around in gangs of dumbasses bitching and complaining about things that don't even exist. You are the conspiracy theorist. You know, mainstream media has been calling me bizarre and saying that we've entered an alternate dimension because when they came out and said, I'm a Russian agent and Trump's a Russian agent, actually several Russian agents, and all this crap, I said the CIA hasn't actually said that Trump works for the Russians or that we were hacking things with the Russians. And I went on to say that is a real conspiracy theory. They went, oh my God, he always believes every theory out there, like WASP or under the UN building, but he doesn't believe this theory that's proven. I never believed all those fake theories. I don't come up with theories. That's a CIA term I threw back in their face. 95% of the time, I cover real legislation and real quotes and real people. 5% of the time, I speculate and tell you when I am, like last Friday on the air. And Thursday, I said, watch. This weekend, Obama will sign the Defense Authorization Act without making them cut the fighter plane that's cost over $1 trillion, $1.5 billion a piece, the F-35. And guess what? That was left in there. He did sign it late on Friday night with the legislation to restrict free speech inside of it at a level never before seen, dumbasses. And again, I'm not calling our listeners and our viewers dumbasses. I'm calling the people that think this stuff's funny and think all this stuff's a joke. The leftist bots, the trolls, the useful idiots. We went out on the streets and saw Hillary supporters. They could hardly talk. They were pathetic. They were sad. But I didn't see them as victims I wanted to feed on. I saw them as humans I wanted to try to lift up. But I got to tell you, it's an incredible time to be alive. But now the circle is complete. The left finally gets that guns aren't about duck hunting, even though duck hunting's awesome. Guns are about individuals being sovereign and able to protect themselves. If Michael Moore can have 6 bodyguards and Bloomberg can have 15 bodyguards, taxpayer paid for, and Dianne Feinstein can have 3 bodyguards and have her own concealed carry, then Americans can as well. And there are a lot of cities where people aren't able to have guns, and those are the places that have the highest crime rates because that's where the Democratic Party mafia runs things. And they've been teamed up with the snot-nosed Republican blue blood, country club, racist East Coast elite who's used race as a tool of control. And the real libertarians are here. The real liberals are here. You know, Russia is so scholarly. They have national TV programs where they analyze what I really stand for and what we've done here. Top stories, stop stuff in Russia. We don't talk about Russia. The truth is, Russia's not infiltrating Alex Jones. Alex Jones has infiltrated Russia. They admit they've modeled the modern RT off of InfoWars. They admit they've modeled major national shows in Russia. In fact, I was taped one last week. I think it already aired on national Russian TV. We ought to find that and play it this week.
Yeah, and it's been translated too.
It's been translated? It's ready?
Yeah, it's been running excerpts of it.
It's already up?
I think it's on YouTube, I believe. So Daria translated.
Oh, make sure.
The whole thing.
Are you in tomorrow?
Yep, absolutely.
I know you're about to get your vacation. Well deserved. I'll make sure I play that tomorrow. The point is, they have modeled this entire Renaissance, and I hate to even say this. This is incredible. In fact, you know what? I probably shouldn't even tell people this. It's because it just sounds too insane. Oh man, let's just say this. I've been on air 20-something years. I had a big audience within a year of being on air because nobody else was doing it. People were copying my show every day on VHS, sitting it all over the country, all over the world. I've been syndicated. By 2000, I was on over 100 radio stations when I was, how old was I in 2000? I'm 43 now. Point is, I've been on the air a while saying this stuff.
28?
Yeah, 28, yeah. And I've been on the air saying this for a long time. I'm on 250-something stations right now. I mean 50,000 waters in like L.A. and Chicago. And then another 10,000 water in Chicago. I mean, 50,000 waters south of New York City that go all over New York. I'm not bragging here, but people just keep thinking because I'm so humble. I've been so humble all the years that I realize I don't need to be not humble. I need to tell folks, we're kicking ass, okay? It's like Godzilla attacking Tokyo. That's the effect we've had. And I began to read the books of Alexander Solzhenitsyn, not just Gulag Archipelago. And I learned that the Russians, including Putin, when he was just vice president, were meeting with Solzhenitsyn and reading his books about how globalist banks who were anti-free market had infiltrated Russia and set it up to be controlled and imploded. And how they need to get back to their Christian roots and as being a nation state again, and how they need to be pro-family and Christian. And all the folks said, oh, that's just propaganda. Russia isn't going Christian. They pay folks to get married. They pay them to have kids. They basically subsidize you to be Christian now. They're banning all the Ford Foundation anti-family programs. They don't teach Heather has two mommies in Russia. They arrest you if you try. And I'm not even endorsing something that extreme, but they kind of picked up on what I was talking about with Solzhenitsyn. They were already awake to Solzhenitsyn. But then my message and the message in None Dare Call It Conspiracy and Tragedy and Hope, written by the globalist Carol Quigley, and they kind of picked up on what Ron Paul and I and others were saying. But it was Ron Paul and myself and just a few others. And that swept through the entire Russian hierarchy in Russia, the intellectual right mainly. And it caused a paradigm shift. Then you saw nationalism, what we're promoting, get picked up in UKIP. And it got picked up in Italy. I mean, look, Nigel Farage, the George Washington of England, and I'm not bragging, I'm giving you facts and hope here. He started coming on about 15 years ago, and he said about 10 years ago, and again about 5 years ago, and then at dinner at the RNC, I forgot to ask him last time he was on. I meant to, just so you could hear it again in modern times from him. The guy that, one of the, probably the most important advisor to Trump, if you really want to know, even about Roger Stone. And he said, Alex, UKIP only had a few thousand members, but I would knock on doors. And all of a sudden, they began to listen to you and Paul Watson 15 years ago, because we were sometimes on Alexa. That was the old web rating deal before they cheated on it. Like 65. When we'd be like 500 in the U.S., which is still incredible out of all websites, like 10 years ago or so. And we'd be like number 65, 67, which we are today on Quantcast and stuff, nationwide or worldwide. But, we've grown. But for a while, we got really hot in England. So they started doing web filters and censoring us and banning us at libraries and mass transit from Wi-Fi. You couldn't get on InfoWars. But for whatever reason, we hit the zeitgeist over in England. And that helped build the whole UKIP movement. And Farage says that it was InfoWars is what originally grew the party to be now the fastest growing in Europe, not just the UK. So what I'm trying to explain is the Russians didn't infiltrate us. The truth is infiltrating the planet. This is 1776 worldwide. The answer to 1984 is 1776. I've been saying that for 10 years, since a former top minister of economics in Canada came to one of the Bilderberg meetings I was covering and said, have you thought that the calculations of counter-tyranny is 1776? So the answer to 1984 is 1776. I forget his name. He's in Endgame. He died like right after the film, like a year after. What a great guy, man. I had no, he was so humble. I had no idea even who he was. He's there at the bar with me and Tucker, and I was being nice, talking to him. We were talking, and some of him's in the film. There's an extended thing on YouTube with me talking to him, but he was a top guy. He was talking about nationalism. He was a liberal, by the way, but a real liberal. Nationalism, sovereignty, true wealth, basing the economy on people. The globalists don't want that, folks. They want it to be the end of humans, so the elite can dictate, again, our future. But InfoWars has been gigantic for a long time, folks. A long time, because you've been spreading the videos. You've been taking action. I don't say that patronizingly. It's you. So incredibly bad things are happening to free speech, but that's because we're kicking their ass. They're being forced to make this move, and I believe it's going to blow up in their face. We have to expose the real foreign powers that are manipulating our media. We have to expose the fact that what Trump and I and Ron Paul and others are promoting is 1776 worldwide and a return to national sovereignty and true greatness, but not starting fights with countries for no reason, but trading with nations, working with nations in Renaissance. Some of the top advisors to Putin, though, have their own view of what we've been talking about, but from their own database. And that's that Russia's this old land-based power, and that the West is the new Atlantis of Sir Francis Bacon, and liberal and inherently evil and bad. That they should go with an ultra-right-wing, autocratic, super male, Darth Vader-based, actual black uniform, almost fascistic system. And there's a battle. If you want sophisticated, real geopolitics, this is what's really going on, not the stuff you see on the news. And there's a battle in Russia over joining the new Atlantis and true liberalism, or totally rejecting it and going with the whole Darth Vader model. Now, death cult model. Now, expanding on that, they point at the false globalist left that's authoritarian and using leftism to basically poison everything and then just call tyranny and oppression and a cult leftist when it's not. And I don't even call it leftist to say liberal, more freedom, lower taxes, more rights to defend yourself. So they've just mislabeled everything and are now having Russians turn against true reform by looking at how tyrannical the West is and saying, look, that's liberal, that's leftist, we don't want to be that. And I've talked, I guess, enough because I forgot to bring a glass of water in here and my throat just got super dry. This is obviously really key information. I'm pouring my heart out here to you. I love you. I care about you. This is real. It's the best of times, worst of times. It's a paradox. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And that's happening now. So realize the power you have. Realize that being involved is your destiny. That the animating contest of liberty is wondrous. And that there's a real fight happening. And we can reach out to all these demoralized hate mongers who have the nerve to openly run around in our faces, weaponizing and trying to bully minorities who are becoming the majority into being absolute race-based cult members with weirdo white people as their rulers, white saviors, like this monster George Mayer. Another little twisted nerd, admitted communist, dreaming he's going to be like Lenin and have his takeover. You're not going to have jack crap, son. Because our forebears were smart. They were trying to establish a new free world outside of tyranny where the individual could be empowered. They were trying to build the new Atlantis. And you are going to find out, you authoritarians, and all you soft, hateful scumbags that hate greater men than you, Well, you're going to find out, all you bullies, what happens when you mess with real liberals. Now, again, these terms, I mean Thomas Jefferson when I say liberal. You can call me a conservative because I'm pro-gun, pro-life. I'm just pro-human. But don't connect me to the establishment right wing that's controlled as well, or these big establishment churches. They're nothing but feel-good factories. All right, Zimmerman, now you got one more video to edit. I appreciate your dedication, your work, all the things you've done. I don't know if you want to jump on real quick, but let me just get a final comment from you about hearing all this, seeing these articles.
Yeah, they're absolutely ramping up this war, and there's a lot of different topics here, but the attack on Trump, and most people see stuff like this and they are disgusted by it, and that's the good thing, is that real Americans, real people who don't live in L.A. or New York City,
they're always like diseased looking too.
It's always weirdos, and this other one here, this guy, I mean, just look at these people.
But they've all got the funding by Soros and the globalists. Yeah. This is taxpayer money funding this snot.
But these are the kinds of people.
He sits in the freest thing in the world, acting like a pseudo-intellectual. What a punk. And the answer is just turning your back on these people and not going to their classes. It's why they want to make their classes mandatory.
Yeah, if you spend money taking a course on the evil of whiteness, you're an idiot. You're wasting your money. You're probably getting
He actually teaches. That's the name of the course. Yeah.
If you sign up for the problem of whiteness as a course, you're a moron. You're just wasting your money with idiots like this. And if you go to a school that even offers something like that, you really ought to consider just switching.
And they literally get up in class and go, I'm bad, I'm white. I mean, it's the sickest, weirdest.
Yeah, this self-loathing is just disgusting.
Meanwhile, they're like bullying the liberal daughter of Donald Trump, the two gay guys. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, two gay lawyers, and one's an author or something like that. And they harass them for sitting in coach. That's a horrible thing.
And then the left makes a big deal out of it.
Yeah. These people are monsters.
What do you mean the left buying guns to defend themselves against the people who just want to be left alone?
They should buy guns. Everyone should have a gun. I think their reasons are a little backwards, that they don't understand that the Second Amendment is to protect against... Well, maybe they do understand that now. They think Trump is a tyrant. He's not. And they're arming themselves to defend against tyranny, which is what we've been talking about all along, and they called us crazy for that. So now the left is doing the exact same thing that they've criticized conservatives, libertarians, all that, for years about, which is protecting yourself from a government.
Absolutely. Let me say this in closing. It's true. I'm asking for your help. I don't just get up here cheesily and say, hey, we've got really great toothpaste about to sell out that's got colloidal silver and iodine in it. It's really good for your gums. It really is. It's $9.95. I don't just get up here and say, hey, we've got really good BioTrue selenium at a very low price. That's from the mustard seed. That's absolutely amazing for your whole body and bioelectric, systems. We're all electrochemical. I don't just get up here and say, hey, we have Trump as my president shirts. We need to wear them out so these bullies understand we're not afraid of them. I wear Trump shirts out. So folks understand it's America. I'm going to wear it. You're going to yell at me? Go ahead and do it. This is a war, folks. So thank you for your support, but we're named by Hillary. We're named by Obama. We're named by Congress, putting the CIA in charge of the FCC over the internet and print media. And I mean, they're coming after us. This isn't our government. This is the hijackers that are desperate and know we've already gotten a beachhead with Trump in the government. Doesn't mean he's perfect, but the enemies that hijack the country and that run it in the ground are panicking. And we're on the front lines of a war, and we need your prayers. We need your support. We need you to buy the products at InfoWarsStore.com. They're amongst the best out there at the lowest prices. But beyond that, just spread the videos, just spread the articles. That's the most important thing you can do to defeat the globalists, is just know that they're putting filters in, everything they can to try to stop you from getting this material out. And the answer to their attempt at attacking free speech is to double down. Notice they tried to sneak this through, and they did. The night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And then along comes the globalists and Obama, these rats, and they sign a bill to put the Pentagon, and people go, well, what about the Pentagon? Pentagon's not supposed to be involved in our news, folks. That means the globalist on top of it. With the CIA and the Board of Governors of the FCC, I mean, there's your headline. Again, you are supporting us. You're normalizing the fact that it's okay to talk about the New World Order. You're normalizing it's the fact to say, no, we don't want to be under a TPP. 3 years ago, the New York Times would say there is not a TPP. Conspiracy theorists claim there's a secret treaty to sign over sovereignty. they would say it didn't exist, just like they'd say in Obamacare there weren't death panels or there weren't IRS agents. They hired 18,000 in the frickin' bill. And I'd sit there on air going, here's the subsection with the 18,000 IRS agents. It starts the first year with $700 fines, then $1,400 fines, then $3,000 fines, and finally, $5,000 fines. One of my crew members, he says I can talk about it. He's getting it because he has to. McBreen, after 3 years, got up to $4,000 something, almost $5,000 fine. And by the way, we offer the insurance. It's one of the moderate ones. It's not super cheap, not super expensive. One of the moderate ones. I don't want to get into which plan our folks have here, but I mean, we've been forced into it. But you know, people don't want it here, and I get it. But Matt Drudge came out 3 years ago and said, I'll just pay the fine. They said, you're lying. There's no fine. All right, I'm out of time. I appreciate you, Zimmerman. I know there's that detailed report. You can just hammer it together as fast as you can. And I just appreciate you all for your support. Spread this video out to everybody. You know, what's the headline on this, Michael?
I don't recall when we started it. But
maybe you see it. It's up at the top.
Yeah, it's red alert. Actually, I can look at my phone real quick. It's red alert. Obama signs bill putting CIA in control of media.
Say that again?
Red alert. Obama signs bill putting CIA in control of media.
And again, that's strong, but not even strong enough. Red alert. Obama signs bill putting FCC under control of
it's everything.
Pentagon. It's just, you can't even, it's the attack is so big, I don't even have words to describe it. The answer is get the word out, spread the word, be your own media, create your own press, never let them censor you. Everybody become their own outlet. Whether it's just doing a weather report on what you see, or going out and covering local gardening, or doing a pro Second Amendment deal, or taking your camera out when you go playing basketball, just speaking, giving people your opinion, having your voice be heard, standing up and saying free speech is okay, pushing Trump to come out in defense of free speech as well. That's absolutely critical as well. All right, Zimmerman, anything else? Appreciate you all. I'm going to go into my family now. And I'll be live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central, Infowars.com/show. If you just take that link, Infowars.com/show, and send it to everybody you know. You did it before the election, and we had 85, it was like 84.5 million people we could register, on different platforms and all of it. Our previous low was like 25 million a week. Our high was like 30-something million. Now our new basement is like 41 million. But if all of you, see, they attack during the holidays. They push when they think you're going to sleep. We got to keep this going to resist them. The Paul Revere spirit is what's needed. Those mavericks out there, I want to salute you, especially the minorities, who are the majority in most areas, who see through the globalist control. You see through better than most trendy white people that just want to be a bunch of bossy little dumbasses like teachers' pets that run around tattling all day. But just thank God you see through most of it. A lot of the public doesn't. But we've got to reach out to other people because this is serious. Does anybody question how evil the mainstream media is and the globalists are, that they would go to these depths? That they'd put stuff like this into law? It's one thing to pass a law, though. It's another thing to try to implement the end of free speech in this country. You tried this crap with the Second Amendment, you're going to fail. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. If you're watching this transmission, spread the word because you are the resistance. Don't take it for granted, folks. They're coming after everything. The next assault's coming. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, see, I told you so, that communist Chinese-style net censorship was coming to the web, because it's already here. It's being announced. The way you keep the internet open and free is you get involved more than ever. Go to Infowars.com/app. A new battleship in the fight. Infowars Live, available right now. We're looking for a crew to man it. You going to sit down and play games and be a trendy? Or are you going to be part of history? Don't sit by and let the internet and free speech be stolen from you. Take action.